Good evening and welcome to Special Assignment. I'm Aaron Muluisi. Peace appears to be slowly coming to Iraq, but since the United States-led invasion in 2003, the Middle Eastern nation has been wrecked by violence. Following the invasion, multinational companies moved into Iraq, bringing with them vast numbers of civilian contractors. Thousands of these non-military personnel have been injured, maimed, and even killed. Tonight we bring you the story of a group of South African contractors and their battle for justice. This special assignment exclusive by producer Sasha Wells-Smith.
Behind the conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan, a vast second army of civilian contractors play an indispensable role in post-war reconstruction. Since 2002, more than 1,400 have died and 31,000 have suffered devastating injuries. Yet, on their return home, they face a grinding battle for basic medical care, artificial limbs and other services. The insurance companies responsible for their treatment routinely deny their medical claims, while recording hundreds of millions of dollars profit in the process. This is the story of a disposable army. In 2003, these were the scenes televised across the world. The fall of Baghdad. The US-led invasion of Iraq toppled the regime of Saddam Hussein, but it also left an already underdeveloped country in ruins. In the aftermath, international efforts turned to reconstruction and multinational businesses flooded into the country. Their personnel made easy targets for Iraqi militants. They soon needed their own protection.
When the reconstruction program started, they got private companies in to start rebuilding power stations, water purification plants, the prisons, the police stations, and the military corps of engineers couldn't do it. So they outsourced this work to private contractors all over the world, even South Africa. And these guys, when they got there, thinking they're walking into a cool and calm zone, that they're going to work in peace and have everything go smooth. And then the guys started being killed. And these guys needed protection, and that's when the US Department of State says, you know what, you need to get private military contractors in to make sure you guys are safe.
While our government doesn't sanction their involvement, South Africans make up the second largest contingent of civilian contractors in Iraq. Many are men with years of combat experience.
I came from a police background. I had the SWAT training, riot unit, counterinsurgency, and that's a normal training any policeman had to go through, plus obviously the years of experience. They wouldn't look at you if you didn't have at least anything between 8 and 10 years service. So that's the first criteria, and they looked at your track record where you worked. They wouldn't take you if you're an office Johnny.
There's three things that made me decide to take part in Iraq. Was firstly, I want to be involved in helping, not only helping people of Iraq only, in helping with this war on terror. And the second, the money was good. Yes, of course. And that want to be the part of people who make difference.
They were targets themselves. In the 18 months Daniel spent in Iraq, he was involved in 5 bomb explosions. This was one of them.
Once the Iraqis knew they were defeated, the militias went to the community. You don't know who they are or what they look like. They're normal people on the streets. It's a faceless terror. If you go out, you know the chances you're not going to come back. And like I said, I buried 10 guys before me, friends of mine, and you pick up pieces of them.
An estimated 30,000 South Africans signed up, but few really understood what they were getting themselves into. This road leading off from Baghdad Airport is the most dangerous 10 kilometers in the world. It's known as Ambush Alley.
You don't know who's going to attack you, because people who wear a vest, which is got bomb, bomb vest, and then they will come close to you and then press the button or release the button, and then there you go. So we never know because they're wearing civilian clothes, and it can be a woman, it can be a child, it can be a disabled person.
The primary mode of attack is an improvised explosive device, or IED.
Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Go!
They are hidden at roadsides and detonated from a distance. Then there are the explosives attached to the bodies of suicide bombers.
What's the VW? Got it.
This is exactly the way we operated in Iraq. Here again, a vehicle convoy. You've got your lead vehicle in front, people following him and vehicles following each other. And this was a British team who actually went on patrol this day. And we always speak to each other, and everyone says, I see this, I see this, I see this. And you make people aware of what you see, because you've got 20 sets of eyes there. And this is what happened to them. As quickly as that. As our vehicle, the fourth vehicle, passed a certain point, the bomb detonated next to our vehicle.
And that was a shape charge?
Shape charge, yeah. It's multiple tubes linked to each other, pointed in a specific direction, and it'll penetrate anything.
Mbusi Cele was in the same vehicle.
I've seen things that I never thought I would see before. Body parts, human flesh, brains, like a I'm sorry to say this, but minced meat of human flesh on the road, and brains that I never thought I would see it. And I also never thought I would see my colleague next to me without his head and everything, like what happened to me. And that, for me, was very bad. Even though I was a highly trained soldier, but that nobody prepare you to see things like that. Yeah.
Mbusi lost an arm and most of his shoulder. Daniel lost his leg and almost his life.
He still had open wounds on his leg with a lot of shrapnel still trapped into the muscles. Subsequently, what happened to him was that the lines that we put in order to feed patients get secondary infected by these hospital superbugs, which Daniel picked up and caused the first episode of septicemia, and which led to a degree of lung failure and a degree of kidney failure.
Despite the extent of their injuries, these men have been fighting since 2006 to get their medical bills paid. After the break, a man trapped by the trauma of Iraq. Not all combat-related injuries are physical. Every day, Johan Steenberg relives the battles he fought in Iraq in his mind. For 5 years, he was team leader of a multinational security unit, Black Cobra. The brotherhood he shared with these men is stronger than any other bond. They were responsible for the protection and transportation of high-ranking clients like Condoleezza Rice to sites throughout Iraq. Johan has seen his fair share of the so-called Iraq experience, a canvas littered with gun battles and roadside bombs. He lost 11 team members and 9 close friends. He blames himself for their deaths.
I salute them. They were the best. It's guys that can never be replaced. I don't care by whom. They were strong men. They were very strong. They were good guys. And I just think it's it's a very high price to pay in exchange for money.
Night after night, he sits alone, replaying the attacks he survived in Iraq. As team leader, he was responsible for the detail of every journey. One of the signs of psychological injury is constant flashbacks to the past.
Try and slow the whole process down, to try and look at it from another angle, to see whether there was something that you could have done differently. Because this haunts you all the time. I'm responsible, because I was a team leader, I'm responsible for people that lost their lives. And you try and look at it from the outside to see whether there was something that you could have done differently that you can maybe pass on to other team leaders who are still there.
He didn't escape unharmed. His experiences are seared in his mind, and small things trigger traumatic events.
I suffer a lot of sleeplessness. I struggle to attend a barbecue with my friends. You've got the constant smell of burning flesh the moment that you have a braai. You associate that with an incident that happened. You are normally very tensed, and you battle to adapt to normal life.
Last year, he was discharged after being diagnosed with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. While his US-based company recommended he get further psychological care, they did nothing to ensure he actually received it.
We're not talking about a luxury here. We're talking about an individual with a real injury. They tend to be aggressive. They tend to be paranoid. They feel that they are still being hunted down, and they still have to watch out for some danger which is lurking around the corner. Let me put it this way. They have to battle with the demons in their own mind to get rid of the pictures that they've got stored up in their memory.
Almost overnight, Johan went from being hero to misfit. His family have distanced themselves from him and barely communicate, which only increases his sense of isolation.
I miss the love that I had, the respect. There's no more respect. The bonding, you don't go anywhere together anymore. There's this constant fighting. As I say, just all aspects of married life, it's just no longer existing. It's no longer there. I lost it somewhere. And that, unfortunately, money can't buy that back to me. It can't. You no longer want it. Not in America, not in Iraq, not by your own family. You might as well end it. Go for a suicide or something like that, because you're in everybody's way. You're an embarrassment to everybody. Nobody wants to stand by you.
Johan has been left to deal with these problems alone. Labelled with post-traumatic stress, he's unemployable, his days stalked by the shadows of war.
People don't consider patients with, let's use the term, with a post-traumatic stress disorder, they don't consider them as people with problems. They say, well, they've been somewhere, something has happened to them, let's get on with the business of living. And that is why it becomes so very serious, because we have these people, let's say injured people in a psychological sense, living in society, and they are not quite geared to be reintroduced into the business of common everyday living.
Johan is receiving no treatment for his condition, as his insurance company won't pay out. Trying to reclaim the adrenaline high of Iraq and to numb his frustration and sense of futility, he behaves recklessly and takes foolish risks. He is a danger to himself and other people.
Look at this, guys!
I can't. I battle to control my anger. There's a lot of road rage involved. The family, we don't see eye to eye. We can't have a decent discussion anymore. There's no love involved. I drink a lot. And there's nothing that bothers anymore. There's no more sense to actually live like this.
After the break, injured contractors fight back. Daniel Brink requires ongoing medical attention for the injuries he sustained in Iraq. After the battle for his life, he is embroiled in another grueling struggle. This time against CNA Global, the insurance carrier appointed to handle his healthcare claims. While CNA covered his initial hospitalization, they've disputed or simply not paid for follow-up surgeries or therapies.
These people are inadvertently causing other people's deaths by not giving them medical services. I could have died. Then I'm less of a liability to them, less paperwork.
Under an American law called the Defense Base Act, medical insurance is a compulsory requirement for companies working under US contracts in Iraq or Afghanistan. This should cover medical care, disability and death benefits for their workers. But the insurance carriers routinely deny or delay payments to injured contractors.
We went there to make South America a safer place and the world a safer place against terrorism. We went there, we gave our lives, just like the soldiers did, to make them a better place. Now they mess with us afterwards and don't stand up to responsibility.
Daniel has been studying law and teamed up with a legal firm to fight these insurance giants. It is a David and Goliath struggle.
Unfortunately, the South Africans do not know what their rights are because they've been left out in the dark. They get sent home at a whim. And the guy says, but where's my money? And there's no one here to help him.
The biggest player is insurance giant AIG, which covers 90% of the private contractors. The company stands accused of profiteering from the injuries or deaths of contractors in Iraq and Afghanistan. AIG received $1.3 billion in premiums, but has only paid out $900 million in compensation or claims, giving them a 38% profit. CNA Global, who insures many South African contractors, made a 52% profit. Ironically, the insurance companies are reimbursed by the US government for all monies they pay out in compensation.
You get told by the HR department, in case of death or injuries, you are covered. I mean, and then the risk actually makes sense. But wait until you die, or wait until you get injured on duty. Then you actually see the teeth of the insurance company coming out.
Currently, there are 250,000 private contractors working in Iraq and Afghanistan. They face the same dangers as US troops, but unlike the care and support awarded to the wounded soldiers, they are left to fend for their own medical care once they get home. Faced with indifference and incompetence, these men are a ticking time bomb. And South Africans are not alone.
I realized that everyone has had this problem. Now we're masses. We're masses that's busy fighting the system. And now eventually the American government wants to know what the heck's happening. 10,000 guys can't be wrong.
Daniel has teamed up with American Tim Newman, another contractor injured in Iraq. Tim's protracted struggle with CNA to get his prosthetic leg made him an activist.
It took us 557 days of legal battles, wrangling, fighting with the insurance companies, trying to get them to do what they say, going to the DOL, going to the administrative law judges and getting, findings. 557 days from the time we asked for the leg till the time I actually got it delivered.
Tim Newman has taken the plight of civilian contractors all the way to the US Senate. On the 18th of June this year, the Subcommittee for Oversight and Government Reform convened a hearing on the issue.
In this subcommittee's investigation, we have heard story after story of injured workers coming home minus a limb or traumatized by war zone experiences seared into their psyche, only to face the fight of their lives with their company's insurance carrier. I would ask that,
Witnesses and representatives from AIG and CNA Global testified.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. The actions that we received from the insurance carriers and companies were simply lip service. Other than limited support for some of our programs, they did nothing to make the process easier on our side or theirs. It was typical double talk and empty promises.
I have provided this committee with facts that I've backed up with evidence of AIG's downright criminal handling of cases of American men and women who put their lives in peril for this great country. All personnel serving in a hostile foreign land must be taken care of when they return home, whether they served in the military or as a civilian contractor, because we did what most people would not do.
I lost the sight of my left eye, 3/4 of my right, and I lost my left leg. At the present time, I'm using a magnifier to try to read. AIG will not even pay for the glasses that the doctor has ordered back in April.
The insurers tried to avoid responsibility.
My job is to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly should do and that we are obligated to do under the current regulations and the laws to provide the right care for these individuals.
Does CNA make money denying claims?
That is not what we're in the business to do. We're in the business to insure people for the risks that we are insuring, and when the claims are legitimate claims, according to whatever the insurance policy is that we issue to them, then we pay them.
You gentlemen, General Fay, Mr. Moore, Mr. Shader, you're going to walk out of here with your two natural legs. You're going to walk out of here not needing assistance to see where you're going. You're going to go home, and you won't be troubled by flashbacks about combat. You don't have to contend with what these gentlemen have had to contend with and what many others who serve the country as contractors have had to contend with. So that's why we're holding these hearings.
Fight!
For South Africans, the fight is that much harder. But there is hope that justice will prevail.
I know people in South Africa that were injured far worse than I do, and they're still heroes. And it's sad to have these guys that were such a major part in what we did be totally ignored and discarded.
For more information, visit www.southafricancontractorsiniraq.com.
Well, that's it for tonight. Join us again next week when we expose massive fraud and illegality in the issuing of traffic fines. And remember, if you have any comments, story suggestions, or even video clips, please send them to us at truth@sabc.co.za. Thank you for watching, and good night.